Hello everyone, glad to be back. Today is 4th of February. Now it's 15 past 2, middle of the day, Moscow time. I'm Levan Gudadze and this is my channel in which I share latest updates on the news that are making headlines in Russian media and Russian language pages on different internet platforms. There is some quite interesting developments and news for this moment that I like to share with you. But before I start, let me ask you, if I may, to hit that like button if you find my videos interesting. Leave some commentary about any topic you like. More likes and comments, my videos will have more chances are that YouTube algorithm will don't suppress them too much. And please, if you can, share links to my videos or my channel on Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, or any other platform that you are active on. That will greatly increase my chances to reach a wider audience, and I will be very, very grateful for this help. That being said, let's talk about news now. And traditionally, I will start with Ukraine and the special military operation. There is some quite significant developments, as I said. And first news is that Russian armed forces did establish complete control over the Belogorovka settlement, which is in Lugansk People's Republic. This information came on pages, on media pages and big Telegram channels yesterday late afternoon. So I couldn't talk about it in my yesterday's update, but we can say now that it is confirmed that this settlement is under Russian control. Let me show you on the map where this Belogorovka is. That's it, man. This is Belogorovka, and now you can see that situation for Ukrainian armed forces that are based in Seversk city becoming even more difficult, because I believe Russian side will try to push forward in direction of Yampol in coming days, and after they will establish full control over the Yampol, then Seversk will basically become under operational encirclement, and we may see here almost identical situation that Bakhmut are. And when it comes to, so quite possible that Ukrainian forces may start withdrawal from Seversk. Some Telegram channels are making suggestions that Kyiv may decide to withdraw forces from Seversk, but after yesterday's statement from Zelensky himself, I have some doubts that Ukrainian forces will receive order to retreat from Seversk or from Bakhmut even. And as you know, you may be familiar with the information that yesterday afternoon Zelensky had meetings with EU officials, and on one of the press conferences he said that he will don't give order to Ukrainian forces that are stationed in Bakhmut to retreat, which means that first of all, it does show you that Zelensky and his henchmen just don't give a damn about lives of Ukrainian soldiers, because their situation in Bakhmut is just dreadful. And everyone, even Western masters of Zelensky, are now almost openly are telling him to give order to withdraw forces from Bakhmut, but he's reluctant for some reason. I mean, I don't know who he thinks he is, but at least for now, it seems like garnison in Bakhmut will don't receive order for retreat, and they will have just three options really: to disobey orders from their command and try to leave Bakhmut on their own through these fields and some roads. But as you know, almost all directions are under Russian fire control, and it's going to be quite difficult for them to retreat with the unorganized manner. or they may surrender to Russian side. That will be best decision they can make and save their lives. Because the third option is no good really for them, because that's death for them, death sentence. And I don't think these ordinary soldiers. I have no sympathy to those Nazi units, you know. But when it comes to ordinary soldiers, as a human, of course, I cannot be happy when I see that these ordinary soldiers, many of them who were mobilized and forcefully sent to front line. I mean, it's nothing good if when hundreds and thousands of those soldiers are dying for no reason, really, just to serve Zelensky and his interest, who is on his part a servant of Washington and London. And yesterday I did watch interview with U.S. Military expert Scott Ritter, and he did stated that Ukrainian side already lost 300 up to 300,000 soldiers, KIA, killed in action, and further 300,000 may be killed if this fight continues. And let me just give you a little episode from that statement that Scott Ritter made. Just listen.
Yeah, they took over Kharkov. They took over the right bank. It looked good, but anybody who knew it went, "That's a lot of flash, no substance." But nothing's going to look good for Ukraine again. They're never going to be able to repeat that. And I think there might be some people saying, if we can just do this, just do that, just do this, Ukraine might be able to stymie or have limited success. But even Miley and everybody else is saying they're not going to be able to retake any meaningful territory this year. The best they can hope for is, a stalemate. And I tell you, Russia doesn't play the stalemate game. That's not going to happen. This is going to be the offense like we haven't seen since World War II, and it's going to be devastating for the Ukrainians, and it's going to be the most tragic thing from a humanitarian standpoint people could possibly would. Ukraine's lost over 300,000 troops, dead, 300,000. They're going to lose another 300,000 in the next couple months.
And that's just none of it was necessary.
None of it was necessary.
So as you can see, situation for Ukrainian side are truly desperate. They have problems with the manpower. It's obvious. That's why they are hunting military age people all over the Ukraine and forcefully are sending to front. And to be honest, I find it hard to understand why Ukrainian soldiers are continuing to obey orders from this criminal regime that Zelensky are head of, But anyhow, man, for this moment, that's updates about frontline. I'm quite sure that before 20 or 21st of February, Russian side may and probably will establish full control over the Bakhmut. Maybe Severs will become under operational control, operational encirclement by that time. We may see that Marinka, in close proximity from Donetsk, may become under Russian control, even Ugledar. But for now, it seems like Russian side is preparing ground for some big moves, maybe even a large-scale offensive operation. And yeah, in a couple of weeks we will see it probably. So let's continue now. And let me stay on my Telegram for this is my Telegram channel, and if you are not subscribed and if you want to see updates from Russia every day, you can subscribe to my channel. As you see, I do updates on this channel many times a day, so you may find it interesting. So you will see a link under the description of this video, and you can subscribe. So I want to talk about this news here, which is saying that US officially confirming that they are sending long-range missiles to Ukraine. We have news here that next aid package will be over 2 billion for Ukraine, and in this package will include GLSDB, ground launch small diameter bombs. Basically, those are homing missiles with a flying range of more than 150 kilometers. And some experts are saying that they can be launched from HIMARS multi-launch rocket system. Some experts are saying that HIMARS launchers must be modernized to use this ammunition. But anyway, I did read yesterday some articles which said that US will provide launchers too for these missiles. And this is, as I was saying previously, this is quite a big step towards further escalation by the West. And I believe when Putin 2 days ago made his statement that Russia will respond not just with conventional weapons, that's my free interpretation of his words. But basically Putin was saying that we will respond not just with tanks and some armored vehicles, which means that Russia may use some other forces that will be necessary, other means. And all this time, I mean, last few weeks at least, I'm regularly talking that West is pushing Russia to corner in which Moscow may see no other option other than use of some extreme measures. And Putin basically stated exactly that a few days ago. And today we have statement from Medvedev, former Russian president, who is now chairman deputy of Security Council, deputy chairman. So let me read his statement that he made today. Russia does not limit itself when responding to an attack. Security Council Deputy Chairman Dmitry Medvedev says, our answer, and we are talking about possible attacks on the Russian soil by long-range weapons that Ukraine will receive from the USA, for example. So he's saying that our answer can be anything. The president of Russia spoke about this quite definitely, in definite terms. We do not set ourselves any restrictions, and depending on the nature of the threats, we are ready to use all types of weapons. The deputy chairman of the Security Council recalled that such actions are in line with Russian doctrine, including the basics of nuclear deterrence. So now you tell me how more clear statements from Moscow gonna be for Western elites to understand that they are truly playing with fire and they are endangering basically whole of humanity with these constant escalations, man. And it's very important, I mean, to inform the Western society, even though there is some demonstrations in different parts of Western states against war and Western involvement in this conflict in Ukraine. That's not enough. That's not enough because we are seeing escalation on a daily basis, and statements from Moscow becoming more and more worrying more and more harsh. And at some point, we may truly end up in a situation where there is nothing left to do because it will be too late. And I don't want that to happen. And the only way we can somehow influence this is to ask Western society to be more proactive and to demand from the government to stop sending so much weapons to Zelensky's regime, and to conduct and to be proactive in diplomatic terms, so that there will be some peace negotiations possible. Because of course it's obvious that if Western elites want, this conflict may end today. All it takes really one call from Washington to Zelensky, and that's it. One call, and this conflict is finished. Yes, Ukraine will be forced to sign peace deal on Russian terms, but that's not Russia's fault. That's a fault of Zelensky's regime, because they have all options before them to avoid this conflict. But they decided to carry on with escalation in confrontation with Russia, and Ukraine already did pay heavy price for mistakes of their leadership, and there are some price to pay in the future too, because there is no way Ukraine gonna return control over the territories that are under Russian control now. Moreover, I'm quite sure Russia will demand full control, or establish anyway full control over the entire southeast of Ukraine, from Kharkiv to Odessa and then Pridnestrovye. That will be Russian position, because most of wide majority of population, they are Russian speakers. They are Russians basically. So to guarantee security for those peoples, Russia will have to establish control over these territories, at least over these territories. Maybe even Kiev. Yet again, it depends when West will realize that it's necessary to start peace negotiations, because Russia is paying price too, heavy cost for this war, for this conflict. And the longer this conflict will continue, less negotiable Russian position will become. And even now Russia don't really has a gap for compromise. So it is what it is, man. Warnings are coming from Russian top political leadership almost on daily basis now, warnings towards Western elites, and they should listen, and Western society should listen and be more proactive before it's too late. So let's continue. And yet again, we have this is RBK news agency reporting based on a New York Times article, which said that in Washington, U.S. leadership, administration of Biden, and think tanks are now actively working to analyze Russian information that they are receiving from Russia and they are predicting now that further escalation with Russia will force Moscow to start moving its nuclear weapons. So yet again, even New York Times writing that Russia may, even though there is no open direct threats from Moscow that they will use nuclear weapons. There are warnings about it, that anything is possible. And now New York Times also writing article that Washington is considering that further escalation will force Moscow to start moving the nuclear weapons, which may mean that they are preparing weapons for deployment. So situation is truly dramatic, and I don't understand why society or even world leaders are so quiet. It's crazy. Here we have this is RIA Novosti. We have a statement from Polish Prime Minister Mateusz Morawiecki, who is complaining that despite sanctions, Russian economy is doing well, and Russian economy this year and next year will even grow faster in a faster rate than Germany's economy. And I mean, what can I say, man? This Russophobic animal is nothing. He is just zero, and I feel sorry for Poland that they have these kind of animals in their government. I just feel sorry for Poland because these animals gonna bring trouble for Polish society. I'm quite sure about it. Just wait and see, man. These Russophobic animals gonna destroy Poland, and Poland society will suffer because of actions of these criminals, basically. Let's continue, and this is TASS news agency. These warmongers and criminals, man. Everyone who supports Zelensky's Nazi regime, they all are criminals. They are participating in war crimes. So it's basically I have all rights to call them warmongers and war criminals, because that's what they are, really. And Polish society basically should become really more active, because we are risking here direct confrontation, And do they really want to fight Russia and die? For what, for God's sake? I mean, do they really? I don't want it, man. If you ask me, I don't want any confrontation with anybody, really. And I think majority of Russian society will say the same. We just don't want confrontation. But if we are forced to fight, then we will fight. And no one is forcing Poland to become a side in this conflict in Ukraine. But Polish elites doing everything to make Polish involvement from indirect involvement to change it on direct involvement. How it's in English, for God's sake. But anyway, Polish society is in danger because of acting of these war criminals, man. So let's continue. We have TASS news agency here, which is reporting that German government did stated that they find no evidence of Russian involvement in attacks on Nord Stream pipelines. And to be honest, I think what level of degradation is taking place in Western elites, and what they think about societies of Western countries, that they seriously was talking about, and still some of them are talking about that may be Russians that blew up those pipelines. Who do you think citizens of European states or US or Western world in general are. Who gonna believe that Russians spend many years to develop these energy projects and then for no reason just blow it up, man? I mean, is how crazy you gonna be to believe this kind of stuff. But Western elites, even now, some of them are pushing this idea that it's Russians, man, because they are scared. Because they are scared, because German elites, man, they are puppets of London and Washington, isn't it? They cannot say that it's Washington, it's US that blew up those pipelines. Even though US officials now openly celebrating this terroristic act, like that dirty bitch Nuland does, you know, she openly said that she is happy that this, and she's openly celebrated that these Nord Stream pipelines are destroyed, you know. But even though US is almost openly saying that yes, we did this, German officials are still scared and can say nothing, you know. All they can say is that, you know, we know Russia is not involved. Same way they can say, you know, we know Zimbabwe is not involved, or Liechtenstein not involved, or Australia is not involved, or I don't know, Botswana is not involved. Of course, Russia is not involved, for God's sake. Society wants answers. Who did this? Because who did not, it's not relevant, isn't it? But these scary bitches that are running Germany, they cannot say nothing, man, because they are basically, you know what they are. Let's continue. Sorry for emotions, you know. So let's continue. We have some news from economy, you know, some economical news. Reuters is reporting, and we have a news article on Kommersant newspaper, which is based on Reuters reporting that India is now mostly paying for Russian oil in dirhams, which is UAE money currency, UAE currency, dirhams. So even though India is not recognizing all those sanctions that Western world is putting on Russian, Indian companies are trying to be careful, and they are now paying for majority of Russian oil in UAE dirhams. UAE is the United Arab Emirates. Of course, you know it. And it's good news because despite demands from Western world, including towards India, to stop buying Russian oil, basically no one is listening to the West. And this is a good example to say that Western elites are isolating Western states from rest of the world. You know, they may think that they are bigger than rest of us are, but they are not. Western states, Western world is tiny compared to rest of the world. And we no longer give a damn about Western world, you know. I never did anyway, but now, you know, more and more countries openly are saying that, you know what, saying to Western elites, because as I said many times, when it comes to ordinary people, man, we are on one side. You know, elites are a problem, not us. And now more and more countries openly are saying to Western elites, just, you know, just leave us alone, stay away, for God's sake. And that's good development, you know, that's good development. Western elites should realize that they are nothing really. They mean nothing to the rest of the world. So this is RT, and basically let Let me see what news is on our team. Yes, I did want to talk about this strange story. Pentagon reported that there is some another spy balloon. They found some another spy balloon, Chinese balloon, as they are saying, over the USA. I did see on Telegram channels some reports that a second one was shut down. At least there was some chemtrails from surface-to-air missiles. That's how those reports were explaining it. Of course, I cannot confirm this, but it's quite possible that there were two balloons, and one was shut down, and one is still over the USA, and one more balloon was found over the South America, I believe. So, very strange story. Chinese are saying that this is not spy balloons; they are just science. They are conducting some science experiments and learning atmosphere and stuff. But whatever it is, man, I find it strange that US did not shut down those balloons straight away once they cross US airspace. That's why in yesterday's update, I even said that maybe this is our US some US experiment that they lost control over. But later on, Chinese did confirm that it's their scientific they balloon that will be for scientific purposes. So a strange story, really. Funny and or maybe even not funny, but at least I find it strange that US didn't shut down that balloon straight away. So let's continue, and this is gonna be last news for this update. We have news here on Commerçant newspaper that US did made decision to put a price cap on Russian oil products from 5th February. So, like EU did. So this is one more reason why Western world is basically isolating itself from rest of the world, because no one here, in rest of the world, no one does give a damn about decisions that US and EU are making. Maybe nobody is trying to be too harsh towards Western elites, and no one trying to openly, directly engage in confrontation with them. But it's obvious that no one really does care no more, And these price caps, of course, I mean, if US wants to pay more, double of price, okay, they can pay, because eventually from third or fourth parties, Russian oil and oil products will anyway end up on European market or in US market. Just price will be much higher than if they buy straight away from Russian companies. And this is one more step to basically isolate Western states from rest of the world. That's what Western elites are doing, and probably in next in coming months and years, we will see this division between Western states and the rest of the world. And these cracks in relations will become wider and wider, because obviously Western world is not that important, for us. I mean, really. And sadly for citizens of Western states, there is nothing we can do to stop this for this moment. Only Western societies can do something, but as long as they are mainly passive observers, then rest of us, what rest of us can do? Nothing. So it is what it is, man. This is last news for this update. I hope you find my videos, this video and my videos in general, interesting, and if so, please hit that like button, leave some commentary about any topic you like, share links to my videos on Twitter, Facebook, Telegram, other platforms that you are active on. That will be a great help, and I will be very, very thankful. So this is it for now. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. Take care and see you soon.